everybody, when we come here, we just unboxed Crypt Crusher. I brought over the Dark Sea Shadow. That can only mean one thing. We're going to this corner of the screen and bringing in Sea Shadow. This is standard form Sea Shadow, and I have to say it looks magnificent. It's kind of reminiscent of Dunebug's color schemes. We've had very few characters that pop like this, but this is pretty cool. It looks very, very pleasing to the eye, even in the box. So, it is the Sea Shadow. What does that mean for you? Well, it is a dark element vehicle. If you get to an elemental gate that's dark and you need a vehicle, this is what would work for you. I think it's the only thing that will work for you, actually. So, kind of a big deal, right? Right here, don't hold me to that, but I think that is correct. And then right here, I'm very tired. It is a sea vehicle. So, dark element, and it's sea. Not land, not sky, sea. It's a submarine. It's actually pretty fun. I've used this extensively, especially last night in the Skylander SuperChargers racing on the Wii. I just had Bowser going through all those portions, and then I jumped to the Wii U to see if his levels carried over. They did, and I did 2 tracks with Pendergast using the Dark Sea Shadow, and that's all I did. No time for anything. That was like at 6 in the morning too. And I was like, I should probably sleep an hour and a half before work. So that's what I did. But here it is in all its glory in the packaging. This was available on launch day. It looked really, really nice sitting on the store shelves. Flipping it around to the backside. In your hand on the portal in the game. It is that simple. There's our inset box art here. And that looks slick. Even in the thumbnail there, if you will. So right here, if you were to take Sea Shadow, Sea Shadow, we'll say, and Nightfall, you would get the supercharged Sea Shadow. There's the Jetstream Sea Shadow, Crypt Crusher, and Dive Bomb. Don't have Jetstream. We've got Dive Bomber sitting down there. We'll unbox it soon. Just took a look at Crypt Crusher. So what we will do now is unbox this. Now, some of you are like, oh man, that thing looks sweet. I gotta go get it. I want it supercharged. Why can't I find Nightfall? I thought, these people that were talking about High Volt and Smash Hit, they also got Nightfall. Apparently, I've heard several different scenarios here. None of this is, I guess, official. But apparently Nightfall won't work in some of the games. I think possibly Nintendo. And some people say there's going to be a patch that'll fix it. And then other people say that she's been recalled already. And I haven't been out on the front lines here to check for stock. But I did see something. I think it was a link Daphne posted. Which looked like it came from probably an Activision support forum or something. It said something along the lines of they were pulled and they were going to be back. So that's probably likely. If you've got her and she works, kudos. If not, she might get patched. You can probably get a replacement, or they'll do something soon to get it working, hopefully. But the Sea Shadow, I haven't heard any issues with. If you want to keep this for your storage cases, to hang on the wall, to put on a poster of your collection, whatever you want to do, cut it out now or cut the tape. Otherwise, you run the risk of tearing it. I just care about the Sea Shadow. So, it came out really easy, so that was super convenient. This one does not have the loose part like my dark one does, so that's already a win. That is a beautiful vehicle. It's a shame it's going to spend so much time underwater, but then again, you want to know where some crazy money spent on stuff that you just don't see often? Boats. It's crazy. People say boats are bust out another 1,000. That's an acronym for boat. And if you've ever looked at somebody's bass boat or some sea cruiser, the amount of metal flake in those things is crazy. And then what's ridiculous is once it's in the water, you can barely see and appreciate it, but it does look cool on the trailer. You gotta give it that. And that's what we've got here. And granted, the way this works in the water, it would be, you can skim along the surface or you can dive down. But this looks really, really good. And it's well detailed on the bottom too. The Dark Sea Shadow, I generally don't have anything bad to say about a dark blue or a black with silver. It looks good. There is that do you hear that? I take showers, not sit in the bathtub, but there's I think the cockpit is just a little loose, the housing there. So I assume it's watertight because we didn't drown Bowser last night. But nonetheless, this one does not have that. It's a solid, everything is intact and everything. So The base colors here, though, we've got purple. That's obvious. You got purple tinting on the cockpit. Purple seats on the inside. There's a steering wheel. I think you can see that, right? That's pretty cool, isn't that? Coming around, you got the purple, which does have a bit of metallic to it. Very little, but it does have some. Batteries died, but the edges here are translucent. That's why you can kind of see my hand underneath it, sort of. I think you know what I'm talking about there. But they are purple, so that's very, very cool. Now right here, this is kind of the dune bug color. It's just a very, very rich, glittery, metal flickish, kind of like an aquamarine blue, if you will. It's kind of got, it's sort of a dark green. There's all sorts, it changes with light, but it remains fairly consistent. And then right here, you've kind of got like this metallic teal color that just pops. It really highlights this, it highlights the purple. Most importantly, it kind of creates a line of divination between them. And it comes out looking fantastic. Coming down, I think this little sort of the teal color is the same that we've got wrapping around. It's just, it looks to be a shade or two darker up here because of the purple and this kind of like, I don't even know how to describe that aside from it just looks awesome. It's got elements, it's like a misty chrome type color. It's got a little black, blue, purple, green, all kinds of stuff going on. But that's the same color, it just looks a bit darker. This has a bit more of like a bright, playful vibe to it down on the bottom. That comes in the sort of like the skis that you can see there. And then of course you've got sort of like your afterburners and your engines and everything, so you can imagine it, you know, taking off into the distance. Then the striker on the tail looks pretty sweet. It's just an amazing looking vehicle. Far and away I like it better than the Dark Sea Shadow. We might make a poll on that, but I think this one would win pretty handily. I don't know. May still do it. If we do, there will be a link down below. Or you can go to the Skylander Club Forum and check out the polls and discussion section now. Right here, we've got the Sea Shadow side by side. And I gotta say, this one, it's tough to beat. Now, I almost wish they would have retained this, maybe darkened it up a bit and just kind of kept that. It would have really made this one pop. And then also, I feel like we kind of lost a little bit with that being painted silver. What I would have liked to have seen on the dark one, now that we've got this one, is let's come in here and on this trim piece, and then on the skis down here, let's make that be silver. Let's come in and then let's have this part here kind of be, like I said, just sort of the black, little darker version of this sort of like aquamarine green metallic, or whatever we would call that, because I feel like we lost a lot losing the translucency on the edge here. It adds like a nice blade-like effect, but at the same time, I feel like we might could have retained that. I don't know, but I mean, these, here they are, and again, to me, this is just, it's one of the, probably going to remain one of the best looking vehicles. I would still have to give like a slight edge to Crypt Crusher just because it appeals to me more, but this looks amazing just in terms of the aesthetics and paint jobs, so the colors work perfectly together. That said, here is our sticker sheet. You've got the artwork there. You got Nightfall piloting this beast, and there you got the Dark Element logo and Sea Shadow. So let's come in now, and I do this to kind of try and provide you as much information as possible. So let's actually go over the attacks. We'll do it in a different order here. So the Abyss Cannon, tap attack 1 to fire darkness orbs that track your enemies. I used the snot out of those last night. And then attack 3, the Luminescent Launcher. Tap attack 3 to launch a darkness vortex. Shoot it with darkness orbs to make it pulse with damage. That looks really cool, but I found myself continually using the primary last night. In the story mode, when I played through the game, I tended to use the tertiary attack more, but there's a bigger view of Nightfall in the Sea Shadow. Let's go ahead and cover the performance mods now. Sea Chasm Turbine, plus 10 top speed. Bioluminator, plus 10 handling. You got the Pressure Reactor for plus 10 acceleration. And lastly, you've got the Deep Sea Dentures, plus 150 on armor, plus 5 handling, minus 5 weight. Coming in here to specialty mods, you got the Undercurrent Catcher for plus 10 acceleration. The Kraken Coating for plus 10 handling. The Dark Manta Fins, plus 300 armor, minus 5 handling, plus 5 weight. So again, those statistics seem to be inverse with one another. Less weight, easier to control. More weight, more difficult to control. Just like in real life. Alluring Lures, plus 10 top speed. If you're into the horns, we've got the Nighttime Tuner, the Abysmal Emitter, the Manta Music, and the Seafloor Rumbler. You note those are all looking fairly similar, but they've got different names. For example, Soda Skimmer right here, exact same horn structure, just different names. So, there are the stats. Again, I would have loved to have had solid numbers with these. I'm not quite sure why they didn't do that, but it would have been much, much appreciated. So, we'll come back in, and what I'll do now is kind of let you look at the Sea Shadow again. But if you want to use the Sea Shadow, this is what the strategy guide recommends. Sea Shadow's strengths are a good top speed, excellent acceleration, and powerful attacks. I'll wholeheartedly agree with the acceleration. I was pretty impressed with it. Poor handling and a low weight means Sea Shadow gets pushed around easily. Yes, that happened last night. And can't corner effectively. Its paper-thin armor can't take much punishment. So they've kind of, it looks like, tried to tier these vehicles. If you got a super stat in one, you're going to have a super bad stat, you know, to proportionally balance everything out towards the middle. But the combination of Sea Shadow's attacks is what allows it to shine in boss pursuit. Darkness vortices appear at your reticle's location when you press attack 3 and stick to opponents even as they stay on the move. After firing off a darkness vortex, blast it with darkness orbs to inflict damage in bunches. So, good strategy there, and again, Burn Cycle also got a recommendation to be used in boss pursuit. Now, if you're going up against Sea Shadow and you're getting destroyed by it repeatedly, here's what they recommend. Sea Shadow is dangerous when it's behind your vehicle, but vulnerable everywhere else. It pulls away in long straight stretches of water, but you can catch up when courses get twisty. Jam it in tight spaces or blast it with your weapons until it spins out. So, there you go. That is Sea Shadow 101, essentially. We're going to come in. We will introduce this thing eventually. Again, right now it's a bit overwhelming. Trying to get the unboxings done. Once those are done, I'm free to introduce. And once we can introduce, we can utilize in the game. So I like to have virgin installs, you know, like we get to see it added to the collection screen when we do an introduction. So that won't happen with Dark Sea Shadow, but hopefully we can make up for it. I'll try to make the introduction as interesting as possible, but I have to say, if you enjoy the sea racing, that type of stuff, or if you just like, I don't really want Gil Grunt, man, you know, I'd like the Reef Ripper, I need a sea vehicle, but I got too many Gil Grunts, and you can't even justify it since he's brand new and reimagined. This looks awesome. And if you don't think so in this video here, run down to your favorite retailer, look for it. If you find it, check it out. It's one of those things, I think even your parents, you know, if you're somebody on a budget or you have to ask your parents, you know, to pick Skylanders up for you, this is something you could give to your mom or dad and say, can we get this? And they're going to be like, oh, that's actually pretty cool looking. And it might do the trick. Maybe they'd turn down another vehicle, but this one, it really does pop that much. I think it's pretty impressive to anyone, including people who are oblivious to what it is, or who are just living under a rock and have no clue what's going down. Something we didn't highlight, there's a Dark Element logo there on the bottom, so they do that for your convenience, but this is just a sweet little ride. So again, I've had quite a bit of seat time with it, at least the dark version. So that said, I will get it introduced as soon as we can. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and make sure you are subscribed. You can follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Once again, thanks so much for watching. My personal site, oneofweezem.com. Skylander Club Forum can be found at skylanderclub.com. Check it out. I think you will like it. We'll probably get a poll up for these guys. And I kind of expect it to be more one-sided, but I could be wrong. We'll just kind of see how it goes down. So, as always, thanks for watching. And for myself and Sea Shadow, we will catch you back here for more Skylander SuperChargers unboxings.